The last note hung in the air long after Daniel's fingers left the keys. It was nearly midnight, and the music room felt too still, too awake. The old piano gleamed dully under the fluorescent light, its surface reflecting the faint outlines of empty chairs stacked against the walls. Daniel exhaled and flexed his tired hands. His upcoming competition piece still wasn't perfect, and staying late was the only way to practice without distractions. He started again, softly at first. The melody rippled, echoing faintly around the tiled room. But halfway through the piece, something odd happened. From somewhere near the back wall came a faint, deliberate tap, tap, tap. Daniel paused. The sound stopped. He frowned, listening. Probably a loose pipe, he told himself. Old building, weird noises. He resumed playing, his foot pressing the sustain pedal. Then again, tap, tap, tap. But this time it matched his rhythm exactly. Every note he hit, every pause, came back with a perfect mocking echo. He stopped. Silence. His pulse quickened. Hello? His voice cracked as it bounced off the walls. No answer, just the low hum of the air conditioner. He stood, scanning the room. Everything was still, except the large wall mirror beside the piano. Its surface caught the light strangely, rippling faintly like water. He took a cautious step closer. His reflection stared back, pale under the harsh light. But there was something behind him in the mirror, a faint outline, small, feminine, long hair, a girl. She stood a few feet behind his reflection, eyes wide, unblinking. Daniel froze. The back of his neck prickled. Slowly, he turned around. The room was empty. The door half opened, the hallway lights flickering beyond. He forced a shaky laugh. Okay, Daniel, sleep deprivation, that's all. When he turned back to the mirror, the girl was gone. His reflection alone stared back, though it looked slightly off. His expression seemed delayed, like it was thinking before moving. He blinked once. The reflection blinked a second later. A chill ran down his spine. He stepped back, knocking over the piano stool. The crash echoed sharply. The mirror seemed to tremble for a heartbeat, as though something behind it shifted. Daniel grabbed his backpack, heart hammering. He didn't even bother turning off the lights. As he reached the door, a soft ping echoed behind him, the sound of a single piano key pressed gently. Middle C. He turned, terrified. The piano was still, but from the mirror came a whisper, soft and close, as if spoken directly into his ear. Stay. When Daniel opened his eyes, everything was white. Ceiling, walls, sheets. A slow, mechanical beeping pulsed beside his ear. For a moment, he couldn't remember how he got there. Then the smell of antiseptic hit him, and it all came rushing back. The music room, the mirror, the whisper. Hey, Sleeping Beauty's awake. Marcus's voice broke the silence. His best friend sat at the foot of the bed, grinning nervously. Next to him, Lena crossed her arms, though her eyes were softer than usual. You fainted, dude, Marcus said. Janitor found you on the floor, mumbling in your sleep. Daniel swallowed hard. What was I saying? Marcus exchanged a glance with Lena. You just kept repeating one word. Stay. The word lodged itself in Daniel's throat like a splinter. I saw someone, he said quietly. In the mirror. Lena rolled her eyes, trying to hide the tremor in her voice. Daniel, please. That mirror's been there forever. It's just old glass. No, he said. She was real, right behind me. Lena hesitated. You know, they say a girl died in that room years ago, during practice. They found her in front of the piano. Heart failure or something. She smirked, but the joke didn't reach her eyes. Maybe she liked your playing. That night, Lena showed up at his door with a flashlight. Let's prove it, she said. No ghosts, just bad acoustics. They walked through the dark halls of the school, footsteps echoing. The music room door groaned as it opened. Inside, everything was just as Daniel remembered. The piano, the faint smell of polish, the large mirror by the wall. only this time the air felt colder. Lena swept the flashlight across the room. See, nothing. She approached the mirror, her reflection following. It's just dust. She laughed and pressed her palm against the glass. A pale bloom of fog appeared under her handprint, not from her breath, but from inside the mirror itself. Daniel froze. Lena, don't move. The flashlight flickered. Then the piano began to play, a slow, trembling melody. The same piece Daniel had been practicing. The notes wavered as though played by invisible hands. Lena stumbled back, her voice barely a whisper. Daniel, the mirror. He turned toward her just as she screamed. Her reflection hadn't moved. It stood there, still pressed against the glass, eyes wide, mouth trembling. And then, as the music stopped, the reflection's lips began to move on their own. Stay. Lena didn't come to school the next morning. Her seat was empty, her phone off. Daniel sat through every class in a daze, his hands trembling every time a window caught his reflection. He hadn't slept. The sound of that piano note still echoed in his head. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Lena's reflection, frozen and whispering through the glass. By lunch, he couldn't take it anymore. He went straight to the music department. Ms. Heller, the piano teacher, was there, stacking sheet music into neat piles. She looked up, startled. You shouldn't be here. The room's closed for inspection after last night. What happened there before? His voice came out sharper than he intended. You said it was just an accident. But who was she? Ms. Heller hesitated, then sighed, her face paling. You shouldn't get involved. Some stories are better left. Tell me. She stared at him for a long moment before answering. Her name was Emily Ward. She was one of my best students. 20 years ago, she was rehearsing alone the night before her big recital. They found her the next morning, heart stopped, hands frozen on the keys. No one ever figured out why. Daniel's chest tightened. And the mirror. Ms. Heller's eyes flicked toward the wall, as though she could still see it. It used to hang in the same spot back then. After she died, strange things started happening. Students saw her reflection, so the school had it removed. Daniel blinked. Removed? But it's still there. What? I saw it. Last night. It's still on the wall. Ms. Heller shook her head slowly. No, Daniel. That mirror was taken out and destroyed 10 years ago. Daniel? His stomach dropped. He ran. Through the empty corridors, down the stairs, to the music room door. It was locked. He kicked it open. The mirror was waiting for him, faintly glowing in the dark. Its surface shimmered, showing just a bit too much depth, like the reflection wasn't flat, but alive. He pulled out his phone, desperate to record proof. The camera flicked on, the flashlight slicing across the glass. At first, it showed only his reflection, pale, shaking, eyes wide. But then another figure appeared behind him. A girl in a white recital dress, hair dripping, skin gray, eyes full of grief. Her lips moved in sync with the melody faintly coming from the piano, the same song he had been practicing. Daniel's breath caught. The girl looked straight into the camera, then into him. Her mouth opened, forming words he couldn't hear. The phone slipped from his hands and clattered to the floor. The last thing the camera caught was Daniel reaching toward the mirror, and his reflection smiling back. 2 days later, the music room was sealed off. The door was chained, the lights switched off, and a handwritten notice read, "Under maintenance, do not enter." No one had seen Daniel since that night. Lena finally returned to school, pale and quiet. Her parents thought she'd had a breakdown. She couldn't explain what happened without sounding insane. But she had to know. She needed to see for herself. That afternoon, she found Ms. Heller outside the music wing, speaking in hushed tones with the principal. On the teacher's desk lay Daniel's phone, the screen cracked, battery nearly dead. "Where did you find that?" Lena asked. "In the music room," Ms. Heller said softly. "It was still recording." Lena's heart pounded. "Can I see it?" The teacher hesitated, then handed it over. The video was grainy, dark. The camera pointed at the piano, faintly lit by Daniel's flashlight. A reflection of him stood in the mirror, unmoving. Then slowly, the reflection tilted its head toward the camera, even though Daniel himself didn't move. Lena pressed the phone closer to her face. The whisper came next, not loud, but right in her ear. "You said you'd stay." She gasped and nearly dropped the phone. The reflection in the video smiled, then the screen went black. "Lena?" Ms. Heller's voice seemed far away. Lena looked up, her chest heaving. For a moment she caught her reflection in the office window, her own face, but delayed. The reflection smiled half a second too late. That night, the school announced the mirror had been removed and destroyed for safety. The students whispered about Daniel's disappearance for weeks, but eventually even the rumors died down. A month later, a freshman posted a photo on social media, a cheerful selfie inside the locked music room. The caption read, "Breaking in for fun, LOL." In the dim reflection behind the student, just over their shoulder, stood a pale girl in a white dress, her face half hidden by hair, eyes wide open, still waiting.